Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today we're jumping straight into something I think is really crucial for anyone wanting to level up their English.
Oh yeah, what's that?
We're talking about 10 daily habits that can seriously change the game in how fluently you speak, understand, read, and write.
Daily habits, absolutely key. And fluency, well, it's more than just speaking fast, isn't it?
Exactly. It's about that comfort level, that confidence, being able to understand and express yourself clearly in, different situations.
Right, feeling at ease with the language.
So these habits we'll discuss, they cover all the bases: listening, speaking, reading, writing. They're practical ways to weave English into your everyday life.
And adaptable too, right? Doesn't matter if you're just starting out or trying to fine-tune your skills.
Precisely. So let's dive in. Habit number 1, listen actively to native English content. Why is listening so foundational?
Well, think about how babies learn language. It starts with listening, absorbing. Your brain naturally seeks patterns. When you listen to English that's just slightly above your current level.
Comprehensible input, they call it.
That's the term, yeah. Your brain starts absorbing the rhythm, the intonation, even grammar, kind of subconsciously. Even if you don't catch every word, it's building that foundation.
Interesting. So it's not just passive hearing. What are the real tangible benefits?
Oh, loads. You get much better at understanding different accents, which is vital today. You pick up informal language, how people really talk.
Not just textbook English.
Definitely not. Plus, your own pronunciation improves as you mimic what you hear, even unconsciously. And vocabulary just grows naturally from the context. You start understanding cultural references, humor.
Okay, I'm sold. How do we actually do this daily? Make it a habit.
Variety is good. Podcasts are great learner ones like The English We Speak or 6-Minute English, or regular ones on topics you love. TV shows, Friends is a classic, or maybe something like The Crown, YouTube channels too.
So find something enjoyable.
Crucial. Aim for maybe 30 minutes a day. You can break it up. And listen actively. Jot down new words. Maybe pause and repeat a phrase that's shadowing. Try summarizing what you heard afterwards.
What about subtitles?
Use them smartly. Maybe start with English subtitles, then try without. Also, mix the difficulty. Maybe some easier stuff like kids shows. Peppa Pig is surprisingly good for basics, and then challenge yourself with news like BBC or CNN.
Good mix. Can you think of someone this really worked for, like a real-life case?
Yeah, I worked with a marketing professional, Maria. She struggled with fast-paced meetings. She started listening to 6-Minute English on her commute, used the transcripts first, then started shadowing. Big difference in her comprehension and confidence in meetings.
That's a great example. Any final tips for making this listening habit stick?
Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself. Choose stuff you actually like. If you hate politics, don't listen to political news.
Right.
Revisit content sometimes. You'll catch more the second time. Maybe keep a simple listening log. And, try to find a quiet time if you can.
What if it's just too fast? People often say that.
Yeah, common problem. Most apps let you slow the audio down. Use that. Start at 0.75x speed maybe. Focus on the main idea, not every single word. If you get bored, switch it up. Different show, different podcast. Consistency beats perfection.
And the long-term payoff.
You build this intuitive feel for English. The rhythm, the structure. Understanding starts feeling more effortless.
Makes sense. Okay, habit 2. Speak English every day. This one scares people sometimes.
It feels daunting, yeah. But it's essential. Speaking forces your brain to actually use the grammar and vocabulary you've learned. It makes you process it actively, builds confidence like nothing else.
So what are the specific wins from daily speaking?
You pause less. You get smoother. Your pronunciation gets better because you're physically making the sounds, like those tricky, the sounds.
Yeah.
Confidence skyrockets, and you actually start using the words you learned from listening or reading. Moves them from passive to active vocabulary.
Okay, practical tips. How do we speak daily if we're alone or shy?
Self-talk. Sounds weird, but it works. Narrate your day. Okay, now I'm making coffee. Describe your thoughts aloud.
Nobody has to hear you.
Exactly. Then language partners. Apps like Tandem, HelloTalk, iTalki connect you with people. Record yourself doing short monologues, then listen back. Find areas to improve.
Ooh, listening to yourself. That takes courage.
It does, but it's so helpful. Role-play scenarios too. Ordering food, asking directions. You can even find online speaking clubs or local meetups.
Got an example for this one. Someone who overcame the speaking fear.
Sure. Ahmed, an engineer, very shy about speaking. He started with self-talk while cooking dinner. Then he got an italki tutor for structured practice. Huge difference. He ended up giving presentations confidently at work.
Wow, that's great. Tips for success with daily speaking.
Set a specific time, even just 15-30 minutes. Learn useful phrases, not just single words. Focus on maybe one improvement area per week, like past tense or intonation. Pronunciation apps like Elsa Speak can help. And be patient.
What about the fear of mistakes? That holds so many back.
Totally normal. But remember, mistakes are how you learn. People appreciate the effort. If you literally have no one to talk to, try AI tools like Grok for basic chat or forums like Reddit's Arc English Learning. Keep a small notebook for words you forget mid-sentence.
Good fallback. And the long-term result of all this talking.
English becomes a real tool for you. For expressing yourself. Conversations get smoother, you can handle more complex topics, it just flows better.
Nice. Okay, habit 3. Read actively in English. Why reading?
Reading exposes you to so much language, diverse vocabulary, complex sentences you might not hear often. It reinforces everything else. Plus, you can go at your own pace.
What benefits come from reading daily?
Big vocabulary growth, especially seeing words in context, better grammar, intuition, you just start feeling what sounds right, you get cultural insights from stories and articles, and it boosts critical thinking.
Makes sense. How do we practice active reading daily?
Choose varied stuff. Graded readers if you're starting. News sites, BBC News, The Guardian, maybe short stories or even novels if you're up for it. The Great Gatsby or something lighter. Opinion pieces are good too.
Find your level and interests again.
Absolutely. Set aside maybe 20-40 minutes and read actively. Highlight words, underline phrases, make notes, ask yourself questions about the text. Summarize what you read, even just verbally to yourself. Tools like LingQ or Kindle's vocabulary builder can help track words.
Got an example. Someone who read their way to better English.
Priya, a student heading to university. She needed academic English. She started reading BBC News daily and tackled the Harry Potter books. She kept a vocabulary notebook and even joined an online book club. Big jump in her reading speed in academic writing.
Harry Potter. Good choice. Tips for reading success.
Start with your interests. Makes it way less of a chore. Break down long articles or chapters. Reread things you enjoy, you'll notice more. Mix it up blogs, news, fiction. Use flashcards like Anki for vocab.
What if reading feels really slow or difficult?
Totally. Okay, start shorter. Tweets, blog posts. If texts are complex, look for simplified versions. News in levels is great for that. Or use translation tools strategically, just for tricky bits. Losing motivation. Join a reading challenge. Reward yourself.
And the long-term impact of daily reading.
You build this incredibly rich mental library of words and structures.
Yeah.
Your speaking and writing become more sophisticated. You can handle complex ideas much more easily.
Excellent. Habit 4. Write regularly in English. Why is writing so important?
Writing forces you to organize your thoughts very deliberately. You have to choose the right words, get the grammar right. It solidifies everything. It's active practice in structuring language.
Benefits of writing daily.
You spot your own grammar mistakes much more easily than when speaking. You actively search for vocabulary, which helps it stick. It clarifies your thinking. And importantly, you can get feedback on written work.
How can we practice writing every day?
Journaling is fantastic. Aim for maybe 100 words, your day, your thoughts, anything. Start a blog on Medium or WordPress about your hobbies.
Even social media.
Yeah, write clear posts or captions in English. Practice writing emails maybe to imaginary clients or friends. And get feedback. Use tools like Grammarly or ProWriting Aid, or ask a tutor or language partner.
Got a writing success story.
1. A chef needed better English for international clients. He started journaling recipes in English and descriptions of his dishes. He posted them on Instagram. Got feedback from a tutor on Reply. His confidence and written communication improved a lot.
Cool example. Tips for making writing a habit.
Just write freely first. Don't worry too much about errors initially. Edit later. Use templates for things like emails if it helps. Vary your topics. Set small, achievable word goals. Look back at old writing sometimes to see your progress.
What if you just stare at a blank page? Don't know what to write.
Happens to everyone. Use writing prompts. Lots of apps and websites have them. Write about a movie you saw, a book you read. Summarize an article. If grammar's a big issue, start with simple sentences. Tools like Hemingway Editor can help simplify. Feeling pointless? Share your writing somewhere, get encouragement.
And the long-term payoff for writing.
It really sharpens how you articulate ideas. Pollock is your speaking too, indirectly. Great for professional communication and prepares you for exams if you need them.
Makes total sense. Habit 5. Expand your vocabulary daily. We touched on this, but why the dedicated focus?
Because vocabulary is the fuel. A strong vocabulary lets you express nuanced ideas, understand complex topics, and just generally feel more capable and confident in the language.
Benefits of daily vocab work.
More expressive power, like we said. Better comprehension, you just understand more. Increased confidence, and it's a real advantage academically or professionally.
How to practice this daily? Seems like it could get boring.
It can if you just stare at lists.
Yeah.
Aim for maybe 5-10 useful words a day. Flashcard apps like Anki, Quizlet, Memrise are good because they use spaced repetition.
Right, so you don't forget them immediately.
Exactly. Learn words in context. Notice how they're used when you read or listen. Group words by theme travel words, business words, emotion words. Use mnemonic silly associations to help remember, and actively use the new words and sentences in your speaking and writing.
Can you give an example?
Lane, a programmer. Needed better tech English for job interviews. Learn relevant tech terms daily using Anki. Made sure to find those words used in context in articles and tech Discord chats, then tried using them himself. It worked really well for his interviews.
Great targeted approach. Tips for vocab success.
Prioritize common words first. Maybe start with something like the Oxford 3000 list. Review regularly. Spaced repetition is your friend. Visualize word meanings. Try teaching the new words to someone else. Great way to solidify them.
What if words just don't stick, or there are too many?
Review, review, review. And use them actively in different contexts. If there seem to be too many words, focus ruthlessly on vocabulary that's relevant to your goals right now. Make it fun. Word games like free rice, crosswords. Don't let it feel like a chore.
Long-term impact of a bigger vocabulary.
You sound more articulate, more confident. You can navigate diverse conversations and texts with much more ease.
Okay, habit 6. Practice pronunciation and intonation. Why focus specifically on this?
Because clear pronunciation and natural intonation are key to being understood easily and sounding, well, natural.
Yep.
It's not just about individual sounds, but the music of the language, too.
What are the benefits here?
Native speakers understand you more effortlessly. Your own confidence goes up. It actually helps your listening, too, because you become more attuned to the sounds. And it adds a layer of professionalism.
How do we practice this daily?
Identify your problem sounds, maybe sounds that don't exist in your native language. Apps like Elsa Speak or Forvo are great for hearing and practicing specific sounds. Shadowing, again, mimic native speakers from audio or video, paying attention to the melody.
Minimal pairs.
Yeah, practicing words that differ by just one sound, like ship and sheep, helps tune your ear and mouth. Record yourself reading sentences and focus on stress and intonation patterns. Tongue twisters are fun, too. She sells seashells.
Got a pronunciation success story.
Sophia, a nurse, used Elsa Speak for tricky sounds she needed for work. Shadowed dialogue from medical dramas like Grey's Anatomy to get the rhythm of medical terms. Made a huge difference in her clarity when talking to patients and colleagues.
Useful. Tips for making pronunciation practice stick.
Focus on maybe one sound or intonation pattern per week. Don't try to fix everything at once. Use a mirror to see what your mouth is doing. Sing English songs, great for rhythm and flow. Get feedback on recordings if possible. Just 10-15 minutes daily is effective.
What if you have a strong accent? Or feel embarrassed practicing?
Aim for clarity, not necessarily eliminating your accent. Your accent is part of you. If you're embarrassed, practice alone first or find a supportive group. Progress can feel slow, so record yourself maybe weekly to actually hear the improvement over time.
Long-term impact of this focus.
Your speech becomes more polished, more natural, and you get better at understanding different accents yourself.
Habit 7. Engage with English media and culture. Why is culture important?
Because language doesn't exist in a vacuum. Understanding the culture behind the language helps you understand idioms, humor, references. It makes your communication much richer and more appropriate.
Benefits of this cultural engagement.
You get idioms and references that might otherwise be confusing. Conversations become more relatable. It keeps learning fun. You're engaging with movies, music, things you enjoy, and it helps you connect with global English-speaking communities.
How do we do this?
Watch culturally relevant stuff, shows like The Office, US or UK, movies like Forrest Gump. Follow influencers or commentators from English-speaking countries on platforms like X or Instagram. Read books that offer cultural insights to Kill a Mockingbird. Maybe magazines like Time.
Online communities too.
Definitely. Forums like Reddit have subreddits like Rask and American or British culture. Learn about holidays, Thanksgiving, Diwali in different contexts.
Example of this helping someone.
Aisha, a teacher who moved to the UK, She connected better with her students and colleagues by watching things like The Great British Bake Off and following British personalities online. She picked up slang, understood local humor better.
Bake Off, always a good choice. Tips for cultural engagement.
Start with cultures you're already interested in or have connections to. Ask questions in forums if you're confused. Note down interesting cultural tidbits. Discuss what you learn with language partners. Stay curious.
What if references are confusing or you lack access?
Look things up online. Ask native speakers. Use free platforms like YouTube, global podcasts. There's tons of content out there. If it feels irrelevant, focus on the culture related to your specific goals. Maybe business culture in the US, for example.
Long-term impact.
Your English becomes more vibrant, more relatable. You can navigate conversations with greater cultural sensitivity and understanding.
Okay, habit 8. Set specific, measurable goals. Why goals? Isn't just doing the habits enough?
Doing the habits is great, but goals give you direction and focus. They help you track progress and stay motivated. Otherwise, you might just drift,
Benefits of setting these SMART goals.
You practice more effectively because you know what you're aiming for. Hitting milestones boosts motivation. It makes you accountable to yourself and allows you to tailor the learning to your specific needs.
How do we set these goals daily?
Use that SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. So not improve vocabulary, but learn 10 new business idioms related to negotiations by Friday and use 3 in practice sentences.
Break it down.
Yeah, break big goals like hold a 5-minute conversation into smaller steps, track your progress notebook app, whatever works, adjust if goals feel too hard or too easy, and reward yourself. Celebrate the small wins.
Got an example of SMART goals in action.
Carlos, a lawyer, needed better legal English. Set goals like write 1 client email draft per day, focusing on using formal connectors correctly, and discuss a case summary for 10 minutes with my tutor weekly without using my notes. Achieve them within about 6 weeks. Very focused.
That's targeted. Tips for successful goal setting.
Be realistic based on your level and time. Include goals across all 4 skills. Visualize achieving them. Maybe share your goals with someone for support. Reflect weekly what worked, what didn't, how to adjust.
What if you keep missing goals or don't know what to aim for?
If you miss goals often, they're probably too big or you're too busy. Make them smaller, more flexible, not sure what to aim for. Look at frameworks like the CEFR to understand different levels and skills. Pair goals with enjoyable activities to stay motivated.
Long-term impact of goal setting.
Creates a clear path. Gives you a sense of control over your learning journey towards fluency. Much more efficient.
Habit 9. Connect with native speakers. We mentioned language partners, but why is this interaction so crucial?
It's the real deal. Authentic practice, instant feedback, cultural immersion, all rolled into one. It bridges the gap between studying English and using English.
Statistical benefits.
You learn natural language slang, idioms, how people really talk, builds massive confidence in actual conversation. You get corrected gently, learn better ways to phrase things, and you can form genuine connections.
How do we find these native speakers?
Language exchange apps are probably the easiest start. Tandem, HelloTalk, Speaky, online communities, Discord servers, Reddit, specific X chats, engage on social media, get a tutor on italki or Reply for structured practice, or, if possible, volunteer or work where English is spoken.
Example of this working well.
Elena, a graphic designer, used Tandem daily for short chats with a Canadian student. Also found local expat meetups in her city. Her conversational fluency improved dramatically, much faster than just studying alone.
Great. Tips for successful interaction.
Be respectful of their time, their culture. Prepare a few things to talk about so you don't just stare blankly. Stay positive. Laugh at mistakes, yours and theirs. Maybe record chats, with permission, to review later. Offer to teach them your language too. Make it a real exchange.
What if you're nervous? Or they talk too fast?
Nerves are normal. Start with text chat first, then move to voice. Can't find anyone? Keep trying different platforms. Use hashtags like #languageexchange. If they speak too fast, just politely ask them to slow down. Most people are happy to help.
Long-term impact of connecting.
English starts to feel dynamic, alive. You develop real conversational ease and can handle different social situations much better.
Okay, final habit, number 10. Reflect and review your progress. Why look back?
Because reflection is how you learn about your learning. It helps you see what's working, what's not, and where to go next. It makes the whole process more conscious and effective.
Benefits of daily reflection.
You become much more aware of your strengths and weaknesses. Seeing progress, even small stuff, is a huge motivator. You learn more efficiently because you focus your efforts better, and you get better at adapting your learning strategies.
How do we reflect daily? What does that look like?
Keep a learning journal, just a few notes. Today, I practiced past tense verbs, found irregular ones hard, note milestones, finished my first graded reader. Review recordings of your speaking. Assess yourself, like sometimes use CEFR checklists, or maybe a free online test like EFSET Monthly. Ask for feedback.
Get an example.
Yuki, a barista, needed better English for customer service, journaled daily about tricky customer interactions, recorded herself practicing taking orders, took the EFSET Monthly. This helped her pinpoint weaknesses like specific question forms and practice them.
Good practical application. Tips for successful reflection.
Be honest with yourself, even about weaknesses. Celebrate the wins. Use reflection prompts if it helps. What was hardest today? What felt easy? Schedule just 5 minutes for it. Maybe visualize your progress with a simple chart.
What if it feels like a chore or you don't know what to write?
Keep it short. Reward yourself after. Find templates online. Lots of language learning blogs have them. Not seeing progress. Compare something you wrote or recorded today with something from a month ago. You'll likely see a difference.
And the long-term impact of reflection.
It ties all your efforts together. Turns scattered practice into a coherent journey. You understand your path to fluency better and make smarter adjustments along the way. Leads to mastery.
Wow, okay. So there we have it, 10 really solid daily habits. From listening actively right through to reflecting on your progress. It feels like a really complete approach.
It is. It covers all the angles, and like we saw with Maria, Ahmed, Priya, and the others, it's that consistent daily effort, even small bits, that really adds up to significant progress over time.
Absolutely. So the message is you don't have to do all 10 perfectly from day one, right?
No, definitely not. Pick one or two that resonate most with you, that seem achievable right now. Start there. Build momentum.
Gradually incorporate more as you get comfortable. And track your progress, celebrate those achievements.
Exactly. Embrace the process, enjoy the journey of learning, and you'll definitely find English becoming a more natural, more enjoyable part of your life.
Fantastic. Well, if you found this deep dive helpful, please do give us a like, share it with anyone else learning English, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more insights and tips.
Keep practicing.